Her best friend straight up called me a loser at this party, with Brittany standing right there. And instead of sticking up for me, she just laughed and said, "He tries his best." I didn't say a word. I grabbed my jacket, turned around, and left her standing there. 3 days go by, and suddenly she's online talking about how she was publicly humiliated. Funny, considering it was just supposed to be a chill weekend cookout with Brittany's old college crew. Nothing over the top, just some burgers and beers at Tyler and Hannah's new place. I'd met most of them before. They were alright. A little louder than the folks I usually hang with, but decent enough. I'd been with Brittany for 3 years by then, so these get-togethers were pretty familiar. I've never been the center of attention kind of guy. That's just not me. Name's Jake, 35, and I run my own construction company. Started it from scratch about 8 years ago, just me, a toolbox, and a beat-up pickup truck. These days, I've got 30 guys working for me and enough contracts to keep us busy for at least the next year. I bust my ass, save wisely, and don't waste energy trying to impress people who couldn't care less. Brittany's 32, works in marketing, and she's always been more outgoing than me, which honestly never bothered me. They say opposites attract, right? She brought the spark, the excitement. And I figured I brought the calm and the consistency. At least, that's how I saw it. That barbecue started off just like any of the others. I was out by the grill giving Tyler a hand while Brittany was off chatting with her girlfriends. Just a regular night, or so I thought. I didn't even think twice when Courtney showed up. I'd seen her around a few times, Brittany's so-called best friend from college. There was always something off about her, a vibe I couldn't quite explain. Still, I kept that to myself. Brittany thought the world of her, said they were like sisters. But Courtney? She never bothered pretending to like me. She was always throwing in little digs, about my job, my clothes, or the fact that I've never taken some grand trip to Europe. I usually brushed it off. Wasn't worth starting anything over. But that night felt different. I was walking over to Brittany with a fresh drink when I heard Courtney's voice, loud enough for half the backyard to hear. "Seriously, Brittany? Another summer with no real vacation? When are you gonna stop settling and actually live a little?" Her tone had bite. Brittany let out this awkward little laugh. "We're saving up for a down payment on a house. Plus, Jake's business keeps him pretty busy," she said, trying to play it off. Then Courtney rolled her eyes like she was performing for an audience. "God, he's such a loser. No goals beyond pouring concrete and swinging a hammer. Come on, Brittany, you could do way better." The whole group just fell silent. Every head turned toward me, drink in hand, standing there like an idiot. Then their eyes shifted to Brittany, waiting to see how she'd respond. And she laughed. Not that uncomfortable, uncertain laugh from before, this one was real. Amused, even. "He tries his best," she said, grabbing the drink from me without even looking me in the eye. "Not everyone can have a glamorous job like you, Courtney." And just like that, the conversation picked back up like nothing had happened. Like I hadn't just been completely disrespected by her friend, and worse, betrayed by the woman I was planning to propose to in a few weeks. I stood there for maybe 3 seconds, letting it sink in. Then I set my drink down, walked over to the chair where I'd left my jacket, grabbed it, and headed straight for the exit. "Jake?" Brittany called out, her voice laced with confusion. I didn't say a word. Didn't even glance back. I just kept walking, got in my truck, and drove home in silence. My phone lit up before I even pulled into the driveway, 10 missed calls from Brittany. Then came the flood of texts. 22 of them, bouncing between confusion and frustration. "Where did you go? You're making a scene. Why are you acting so sensitive? Call me back. Now." I shut off my phone and went to bed without another thought. The next morning, I was up at my usual time, 5 a.m. went for a run, showered, made myself a strong cup of coffee. When I finally powered my phone back on, there were 35 more messages from her. The tone had shifted completely in the last few. I'm coming over. We need to talk. I've been knocking for 15 minutes. Where are you? This is ridiculous, Jake. I finally texted back, short and direct, not doing this over text. Call me when you're ready to talk like adults. She showed up an hour later, storming through the front door the second I opened it. What the hell, Jake? She snapped, marching straight into the living room. You just left me there at Tyler and Hannah's like it was nothing. I closed the door behind her, calm as ever. Stranded? I said. You had your own car. And a whole crowd of friends to keep you company. Oh, come on, you know what I mean, she fired back. You made me look bad in front of everyone. Interesting choice of words, I said, leaning back against the wall. I embarrassed you. Not Courtney calling me a loser to my face. Not you backing her up with that little laugh. I didn't agree with her, Brittany shot back quickly. I was just trying to de-escalate. By laughing? I asked. By saying I'd try my best, like I'm some kid struggling to keep up in class. You're blowing this way out of proportion, she said with a sigh, dropping onto my couch like she was exhausted by the whole thing. It was just Courtney being Courtney. Nobody takes her seriously. Well, I do, I said, quieter now. And I took you seriously, too, right up until you stood there and laughed instead of sticking up for me. So what? She said, frustrated. You want me to throw a fit every time Courtney runs her mouth? That's just how she is. I shook my head slowly. No. That's how you let her be. Big difference. It was just a dumb comment at a party, Jake. It wasn't the comment, Brittany. It was how you responded. We've been together for 3 years, and you couldn't even say, don't talk about the man I love like that? Not even once. She looked at me, and something shifted in her face, went from annoyed to uneasy. Jake, you're not really that upset, are you? I mean, come on. It's not that serious. It is to me, I said firmly. She tried a softer angle then, stepping toward me with a gentler tone. Baby, I'm sorry if your feelings got hurt. I wasn't thinking. Let's not drag this out, okay? I've got that work dinner Thursday, wear that blue shirt I like. I took a step back, keeping space between us. I won't be going. Her face hardened instantly. What do you mean? I mean I'm done, Brittany. We're done. She blinked. You can't be serious. You're seriously ending things over one comment, she asked, her voice rising. No, I said, steady and clear. I'm ending this because someone looked me in the eye and called me a loser, and instead of standing up for me, the woman who's supposed to love me laughed like she agreed. That told me everything I needed to know about how you really see me. This is insane, she shouted, her eyes starting to fill with tears. You're throwing away 3 years over something so small. It's not small, I said. It's about self-respect. She tried everything then, crying, yelling, begging, even apologizing. But none of it landed. None of it changed what I felt. Eventually, she stormed out, slamming the door so hard it rattled the frame. Over the next couple of days, I ignored her calls and messages. Put my focus into work. Hit the gym harder than usual. Told my foreman I'd be off-grid for a bit and made sure the crew leads had everything under control on site. I needed space, to clear my head, to pack up her stuff from my place, and to grab mine from hers. We'd never officially moved in together, but after 3 years, our lives had definitely tangled up. I took a methodical approach. Labeled every box. Made lists of what belonged to who. Even put the engagement ring I'd already bought back into the safe without a second thought. On the 3rd day, I saw it. Brittany had posted a long, dramatic message on social media. It was all about how her boyfriend had publicly humiliated her and left her stranded at a party over what she called a harmless joke. She painted herself as the victim, claimed she was blindsided by my extreme reaction and emotional immaturity. The comments came flooding in. Mostly her friends, chiming in with sympathy. Calling me controlling. Insecure. Petty. Courtney, of course, had to jump in too. Her comment was something else. You're better off without him. Men who can't take a joke are walking red flags. I didn't clap back. Didn't go on a social media tirade. Instead, I sent Brittany a text. I'll be dropping your stuff off tomorrow at 6, I texted. Left your key in the small front pocket of your gray duffel. Please have my things ready. She responded almost instantly. We need to talk about this like adults. Stop acting so childish. I didn't bite. Didn't engage. Just sent one more message. 7 p.m. Please have my stuff ready. When I showed up at her place the next evening, she was already waiting by the door. She'd gone all out, hair done, makeup perfect, wearing that perfume she knew I liked. Classic Brittany, pulling out her usual playbook. I'd seen these moves before. I'd fallen for them more times than I'd like to admit. Jake, she said softly, voice sweet as honey. This has gone on long enough. We need to talk. I'm just here to get my things, I said, setting the boxes of her stuff down inside the entryway. Please, she said, stepping in front of me. Just give me 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. I glanced at my watch. All right. 5 minutes. She jumped right in, like she'd rehearsed it. Told me how sorry she was, how Courtney's comment had thrown her off, and how she'd spent the last few days reflecting on everything. Said she realized she'd handled it all wrong. I even talked to Courtney, she added, like that would impress me. Told her she owes you an apology. She agreed to meet us for coffee so she can clear the air. I almost laughed right there. You still don't get it, I said, shaking my head. This was never about Courtney. I know this is about my reaction, and I'm truly sorry, Jake. It won't happen again. You're right about that, I said, picking up the box with my things. She looked around, clearly confused. Where's the rest of my stuff? That's it, I said, giving her a pointed look. Jake, please, she sounded like she was grasping for anything. I love you, she said, her voice breaking. Doesn't that count for anything? Love without respect isn't love, I replied flatly. It's just convenience. Her face twisted, frustration taking over. So that's it? 3 years gone because your ego got bruised. My ego's fine, I said. But my understanding of our relationship? That's changed. And that's all. She snapped, voice sharp. You'll regret this. Good luck finding someone else who'll put up with your boring, workaholic lifestyle and your constant need for validation. I nodded, unfazed. Thanks for confirming my decision. As I turned to leave, she pulled out her last card. What about our vacation to Cabo next month? She demanded. The flights are non-refundable. Everyone's expecting us. I paused and looked back at her, my voice steady. Everyone? You mean your college friends? Courtney. Her silence spoke volumes. Enjoy Cabo, I said, closing the door softly behind me. The fallout was exactly what I'd expected. More social media posts painting me as the villain. Mutual friends picking sides. Brittany's mom calling me to tell me I was making a terrible mistake over something so trivial. I took it all in stride, keeping my focus on what mattered. I threw myself into work. Reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in a while. Hit the gym 5 days a week instead of 3. I was living my life on my own terms. 2 weeks later, I noticed a shift. Brittany's tone on social media had changed. I wasn't seeing any more angry posts about me. Now, she was all about sharing those motivational quotes, things about knowing your worth and letting go of what doesn't serve you. Classic move to reinvent herself. Then, out of nowhere, Hannah called. "Jake, you should probably know something. After you left the barbecue, Courtney didn't stop. She went on for 20 minutes, trashing you to anyone who'd listen. Tyler had to step in and tell her to either stop or leave. That's when she lost it." Hannah paused for a second before adding, "She said Brittany deserved better than some blue-collar guy with no education." "That's when Brittany finally spoke up for you," Hannah continued. "But it was way too late," I said. I nodded, even though I wasn't sure how to feel. "I know, but that's not why I'm calling," Hannah said. "The Cabo trip? It was supposed to be a surprise engagement. Brittany's been telling everyone you were going to propose." My stomach dropped. I had been planning to propose, but I'd never mentioned it to Brittany. Not once. I hadn't even shown anyone the ring. How did she know that? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Hannah took a breath before replying. "She's been going through your stuff for months, Jake. Looking for signs you were serious about the relationship. She found the ring 2 months ago, took pictures of it, and showed everyone. Courtney has been helping her plan the wedding ever since." I felt a rush of anger and disbelief. The invasion of privacy hit me harder than any of the disrespect from before. Brittany had been digging through my personal things for months. Violating my trust without a second thought. "Thanks for telling me, Hannah." "One more thing," Hannah said. "You know Courtney and Tyler's brother, Logan? They've been seeing each other for months." Brittany knew about it. Everyone knew about Logan, except Tyler. That's why Courtney had been stirring the pot between us. She was worried I'd tell Tyler what was going on with Logan. That's when everything started to click. Brittany's tolerance of Courtney's behavior. The sudden change in how she treated me. The way she'd always pick loyalty to her friend over respect for her boyfriend. A week later, Brittany showed up at my office without warning. My secretary tried to stop her, but she just shoved past her. "We need to talk," she said, slamming the door behind her. I didn't get up. "I'm working, Brittany." "Make an appointment then." "Stop being difficult." "This is important," she insisted. I raised an eyebrow. "The Ironcrest construction deal is next week." She didn't seem to care about my tone. "The Ironcrest deal," she repeated. It could be the biggest client for my marketing firm. She'd been obsessing over landing it for months. "And?" I asked, trying to stay calm. "They specifically asked to meet my contractor boyfriend," she said, almost too eagerly. "I've been telling them all about your business," she continued. "They're building 3 new locations and need someone reliable." There it was, the real reason for her sudden rush to make things right. "So call a contractor," I suggested. "You've got plenty of options." "Jake, please. This account could make my career. I'm begging you." I stared at her for what felt like forever. The woman who had laughed when her friend called me a loser. The one who had invaded my privacy without a second thought. And now, she wanted to use my business to climb higher. The answer was simple. No. She looked at me like I'd just slapped her. "Excuse me?" "No," I repeated, standing up. "I'm not your prop. Not your backup plan. Not your business connection. I'm the loser who tries his best, remember?" For the first time, I saw something that almost resembled regret in her eyes. But it wasn't for hurting me, it was for losing what I could offer her. I turned back to my desk, not even bothering to look at her. "The door's that way." I called to Brooke, "We'll show her out. Please don't come back." 2 days later, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "You were right. I'm sorry it took me so long to see it. It was signed simply, A. I didn't bother responding. I didn't need to. Some things, like burned bridges, don't need fixing. Last I heard, Brittany still didn't get the Ironcrest construction deal. As for Courtney, her affair with Tyler's brother exploded at a dinner party. And me? I ended up landing the Ironcrest contract anyway. Turns out, they'd been doing their own research and liked the reputation my company had built. Sometimes, revenge isn't about getting even. Sometimes, it's about walking away and letting karma do its thing. Fast forward a month. I didn't expect this post to blow up the way it did. Thanks to everyone who commented and sent messages of support. Let me clear up the most common questions I've been getting. No, I haven't talked to Brittany since that day in my office. Yes, I still have the ring. It's sitting safely in my vault. No, I don't regret walking away. There have been some updates, though. The Ironcrest deal is going smoothly. 2 commercial buildings, both on track, both within budget. My team's crushing it. It feels great to finally focus on what I do best without all the drama. Tyler found out about his brother and Courtney eventually. Turns out, she'd been playing both of them for months. Word from mutual friends is that things got ugly. A full-on shouting match at a family dinner. Drinks flying, the whole 9 yards. Tyler and Hannah are trying to work things out, but his brother isn't welcome at their place anymore. As for Brittany, her marketing firm lost the Ironcrest construction account, along with 2 others, after her boss found out she'd been making promises they couldn't keep, like offering exclusive access to her contractor boyfriend's discounted rates. She's still got a job, but she's been demoted. Karma sure has its way of working things out. I got a call from Brittany's dad last week. Unlike her mom, he's always been upfront and to the point. He told me he respected how I handled everything. No drama. No mudslinging in public. He's a contractor too, old school like me. He got why I couldn't just let that disrespect slide. His exact words were, "I raised her better than that." Made me realize just how far the apple fell from the tree. And funny thing, people who were so quick to call me controlling have gone suspiciously quiet since Courtney's little scandal with Tyler's brother came out. Funny how the truth shifts perspectives. As for those wondering if I'm back on the dating scene yet, there's no rush. Right now, I'm focused on my business. And on my health. I'm reconnecting with old friends who got pushed aside during my relationship. Dating will happen when it happens. In the meantime, I finally signed up for some woodworking classes, something I'd been putting off for years. I built my first custom table last weekend, and honestly, it turned out pretty well. Some people in the comments said I was being too harsh, that I should have tried harder to work things out. But here's the thing. Respect isn't something you can compromise on. Once it becomes clear that someone sees you as beneath them, someone who tries their best but can never quite measure up, what's left to fix? You can't build a future with someone who's just settling for you while they wait for something better to come along. That's my final thought. Walking away doesn't make you weak. In fact, sometimes it takes more strength to leave than to stay and keep fighting for someone who doesn't value you. I chose peace over a battle. I chose self-respect over seeking approval from others. And honestly, it was the best decision I've ever made. Fast forward 6 months. Final update. Because closure is important. It's been half a year since that barbecue, and life has found its rhythm again. The business is doing well, we've added 5 new guys to the team. We bought 2 new trucks and landed contracts that'll keep us busy well into next year. The Ironcrest construction buildings are done, and they've already sent us 2 more referrals. As for Brittany, I bumped into her at a coffee shop last week. Totally by chance. Just one of those random encounters that happen in a town like this. She looked good, different somehow. A little more subdued. Less of the showy, dramatic energy. She asked if we could talk for a minute, so we sat down at a corner table. There was no drama. No tears. Just two people having an adult conversation. She apologized. And this time, it felt genuine. She told me that losing me, along with all the fallout with her firm, had been a wake-up call she really needed. She admitted she'd let Courtney's influence dictate her values for far too long. Said she's in therapy now and working on being more authentic. I told her I wished her well, and I truly meant it. 3 years together don't just disappear, even if things end on a sour note. A part of me will always care about her, no matter what. Are you seeing anyone? She asked. Straight to the point, but not with any real hope behind it. Just curious, she added. Yeah, I said. Been a few months now. I met Madison through my woodworking class. She's an architect. Designs custom homes. She's smart. No pretenses. And when she laughs, it feels real. She respects what I do because she understands the craftsmanship that goes into it. We're taking things slow, but we're building something solid. Brittany nodded. No drama. She's lucky to have you. I hope she knows that, I said. We parted ways on good terms. No intention to reconnect. No promises of friendship. Just closure. As for Courtney, the last I heard, she moved to another state after everything went down with Tyler's family. Don't know, don't care. Some people don't change, they just find a new audience for the same tired performance. To everyone who followed this journey from the start, thank you for the support. The messages from guys who found the strength to walk away from disrespect mean more to me than you can imagine. Standing your ground doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes, it's as simple as putting on your jacket and walking out the door. If there's one lesson to take away from all this, it's this: people will treat you the way you let them. Set your boundaries early and stick to them. The right people will respect that. The wrong ones will call you controlling, insecure, or oversensitive. Let them talk. Your peace is worth more than their approval. That's all from me. Time to get back to building things that last. Some people asked what happened to the engagement ring. I sold it last month and used the money for a down payment on a cabin upstate. A weekend getaway spot, something I've wanted for years. A much better investment than a failed engagement. And to the guy who messaged me, asking if I'd gotten soft because I spoke to Brittany at the coffee shop, buddy, confidence doesn't need to be harsh. Being civil doesn't make you weak. It just means you've moved beyond the anger to a place of indifference. That's not softness, that's freedom.